Let's discuss with our panel. And Ashley, I have to say, the idea that Republicans would attack Vice President Harris for not visiting the border was about the most predictable thing in this. And so what I don't understand is why the self-inflicted wound. I mean, she could have just easily taken care of this early on by making that one of her first stops.
Yeah, well, the vice president made clear she was going to go to Guatemala first and the Northern Triangle because she really wants to get to the root cause of migration. But the thing that is interesting, she said she's going to go to the border. She's going to the border now. I bet you the news tomorrow from Republicans will be she's soft on immigration. She doesn't understand the issue. They're going to attack her either way, whether she was going to the border or not, because what they think we should be doing about migration and immigration is not the same as the Biden campaign. The one thing that they do seem to...
You mean not the same as the Trump campaign?
The Trump campaign. Yeah. It seems like the one thing they might actually agree on is that migrants should not be coming to the United States right now, which she got a lot of flack from progressives in the immigrant rights community for saying that, even though that was a Biden and Mayorkas policy, that has been out there before.
What's your take on this, Kristen? And also, welcome back.
Great to be here, Jay. Great to see you. Look, this is, I think, fairly or unfairly, it's going to be said that she is doing this because Trump recently announced he's going to the border on June 30th. Conservatives have already sort of pivoted from saying, look, she needs to go to the border, which I think is a fair criticism. If you're the government's point person on this issue, go. Be there on the ground. See what's happening. That was a very fair criticism. But now, of course, it almost looks like they're responding to Trump, which is not something that the Biden administration wants to be in the position of doing. You want Trump to be at his golf club, tweeting out things that don't affect you, not driving where your vice president goes.
Interesting. Ashley, today we learned about a dozen Republican lawmakers are going to join Trump on that border visit next week. Clearly red meat for the base, for the Republican base. Is there a way for Biden to win a messaging battle with Trump on this, or should he just not even try and just focus on the actual process of governing?
I think that the Biden-Harris administration needs to draw a very stark contrast with their policies and the Trump administration's policies. Trump can go to the border, and then we should be reminded what he did on the border, how he separated mothers and fathers from their children, and the Biden administration is having to fix that. So I wouldn't take the bait and debate whether or not he should be going or not, but I would point out how terrible his policies were and how we're in a lot of the crises because of how he treated and talked about immigrant families and how he handled the border crisis and really actually created it. So I don't think he should take the Trump bait at all.
I want to ask you about this new article in the Los Angeles Times raising questions about Hunter Biden's latest project. He is an artist. He is selling his artwork. The prices range from $75,000 to nearly $500,000, which is quite a lot of money for a novice painter. A new opinion piece in the Los Angeles Times says, quote, "The identity of buyers will not be disclosed, leading not just his father's political enemies, but also ethics experts and some of Biden's allies to speculate about whether this is just the latest example of Hunter exploiting the family name for profit." I mean, he has a right to make a living, and he can't really do government work anymore.
Yeah, but that's pretty good work if you can get it. I went down to Michael's over the holidays, bought some canvases. I'm pretty sure that nothing I could produce in my basement is going to be that good or worth that much money. So this certainly doesn't quite smell right. And I just, in some ways, my heart always kind of breaks for President Biden every time these stories happen, because Hunter Biden is just this magnet for all of this controversy, and he brings it on himself through his own actions. Whether we're talking about everything that's on the laptop that's allegedly his or this news story, he's just this constant lightning rod for drama. It has to be disappointing to the president. It has to be an unfortunate distraction for them. But it also speaks to the ability of, there's so many loopholes that allow sort of money to slosh around, influence to be sort of peddled in ways that are just deeply unfortunate and counterproductive to democracy.
Yeah, I mean, one of the points being made by this op-ed writer was that he could give the money to charity. You know, potentially he could set up a trust for his kids. You know, anyway, good to see both of you. Thank you so much.